Nick Saban, he did it again. What's up? It's Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. We knew that this secondary was already loaded after the spring season. There might have been a gap or two, but what Nick Saban did out of the transfer portal was quite simply amazing. So out is Traquan Fagans, Jacquez Robinson, and Kyrie Jackson. Nick Saban goes and gets two of the most heavily touted transfers in the portal in Jalen Key and Trey Amos and adds them to the roster. This secondary group, anchored by vets like Malachi Moore and Kool-Aid JaQuincy McKinstry, are already turning heads way in the spring season. Number one unit across the country. But Nick Saban clearly knows that adding quality depth around young freshmen like Caleb Downs or Earl Little Jr. is an important part of the process, and getting that playing experience is vital. You know last season that there were some teams that did eat up Alabama from the opposition. You rewind to that Tennessee game, stuff like that cannot happen. So let's look at the Alabama secondary right here for a second, and you look at the starters: Kool-Aid, Terran Arnold, Jalen Key, or Christian Story, Caleb Downs, Malachi Moore. Now the two deep: Trey Amos, Antonio Kite, Jalen Key, Christian Story, Jake Pope, Earl Little. And I think that Trey Amos is certainly going to battle with Terrion. I think that is going to be a position battle that we watch during August. A lot of the transfers that do come into the University of Alabama, they eventually end up playing. Now, that's not always the case, but Nick Saban isn't going to the transfer portal to get guys in the 2 or the 3 deep. Now, let's look at that dime package down at the bottom of your screen. That's when Alabama puts 6 DBs on the field. That looks absolutely ferocious. Kool-Aid, Terrion, Trey Amos, Malachi Moore, Jalen Key, and Caleb Downs. I'm signing off on that dime package if that is the case. Now, why is it amazing adding Jalen Key and Trey Amos? Yes, I get it. Guys from Louisiana, Lafayette, and UAB might not have that much appeal, but when you look to the individual player itself, Jalen Key played in over 500 snaps in 2022. He started 13 games, and he has 60 tackles. That's a ton of experience. For Trey Amos, there's a reason that LSU wanted him, that Michigan wanted him, Oklahoma, you name it, that program wanted him. So clearly, what the coaches saw from Trey Amos and Jalen Key was very important and a pivotal part to add these two pieces to the Alabama defensive secondary. And I understand how it works. The players coming in are always better than the players going out. But do you feel that Alabama and the coaching staff upgraded adding Jalen Key and Trey Amos with Jacquez Robinson, Traquan Fagans, and Kyrie Jackson exiting out? And it's probably too early to tell because we have to see what these players can do in practice on Saturday when we actually get to see the pads start popping and see how these guys are rotating into coverage, fitting with the defense, bringing the boom when they need to, and playing very good against some very talented wide receivers that now the world of college football is accustomed to. It's no longer a 3 yards in a cloud of dust type game. You have to have athletic, hard-hitting defensive secondary every single Saturday to be able to stop these offenses that are now high potent, the potency that the Georgia Bulldogs have. You have to be able to stop the wide receivers that the Ohio State Buckeyes have. The top tier teams have the top tier wide receivers, and to counter that, you have to have top tier defensive backs to be able to go 4 quarters to be able to stop that type of offense that now exists across the world of college football. I want to get your take about this Alabama secondary. Are you excited with Alabama adding Trey Amos and Jalen Key to the roster? I want to hear from you. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, this is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube.